Good afternoon, everybody, or it's afternoon for me. I guess it's still morning for you. This has been terrific. Chris has been doing an awesome job. I love the moderators. You guys have been watching the chat. It's been terrific. So I'm glad that so many members have taken advantage of this opportunity, because I'll tell you, across the country, we don't see this very often. Up in my district, even, we have not had the extent of training that you're getting in this weekend and last. So really appreciate it, and really appreciate Chris and the Commodore for pulling, and the ADSOs for pulling this all together and getting it out to you. So Chris may have overstated my role a little bit. I am on the national staff, but I am not by any manner of means the expert in reports right now, because we're all learning the new system. I was the expert in the AUXInfo system. For those of you who knew it, I ran the AUXInfo help desk after Harry Shopey passed away. I've been working in this new system, and what I'm going to do today with you is really try to give you all the immediate gratification of being able to run a report, at least for yourself and your flotilla, and maybe they'll be somewhat simple, and then show you how to build something a little more complex, but recognize that even I'm still learning how to do the complexities of reporting. Remember last week we talked about views, and a view, for example, if I go to my activity log screen, I have views that, maybe like this, and I can print this as a printable view. This happens to be all the activity logs that have been submitted through my division. But a report gives you, and last week we talked about how to create your own view and how to make your own view, sort of customizing it. Reports work very similarly, but reports you can do more with. You can do more information, you can put it in different formats. So to access the reports, we want to go to the More button, first of all, and go to the reports. I want to point out a couple of differences. First of all, you'll see you always open on recent, but there's no pin. There's no down arrow or a pin to pin a report. This screen doesn't have the pin function. And so you're going to always open on recent. You can't get rid of all the junk that might be there, and I have a lot of it. But it's just set up this way. What I do want you to do is go, every time you go into reports, you should probably start with either your private reports, because each of you has your own folder in the system to create reports for yourself. Or what we have done is we've created reports. We, being the national staff, have created reports as templates that you can start with to create your own report. If you go to all folders, this is where you will find a lot of the pre-formatted reports, and you can still modify them. But the simplest way to build a report is find a report that is similar to what you're looking for, and then make the modifications. There's 3 folders I want to point out to you. Down here, there's individual reports, there's flotilla reports. We also have district and division. If you come up here, because it's alphabetical, there's also a folder called Auxiliary All Access. Auxiliary All Access is a new folder. This folder is to be used if someone creates a report that, after they talk to their management, they feel is something that's worth sharing with others. And then you have the ability to put the report, when you save it, in a shared folder. So if I go to your district, you'll see there's a shared folder for each division. And you would load or save your report to your shared folder. I don't know that you have, somebody's done, Terry did, a report. And then this would be that anybody in the country can do it.
Can I jump in for 1 second?
Yep.
We're actually 11 Southern, so 114.
Oh, 114. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I went to the wrong one.
And the reason I'm making you go there is because I wanted to point out that I did put some, not 140, it's
114. There we go.
There.
I clicked over one. You are putting reports in.
Yes, I have been.
In what
And you can
unit?
click one. We had some requests. This is just an aside, but we had a request from the OTO, and the ops guys are all trying to figure out who needs QE rides in 2021. And so I
Yep.
actually have, I'm just pointing out to everyone, there is a report, division level report in each division. If you just click any of them, with that report for the division. Okay, I shut up.
No, it's okay. And like I said, I would also point out that DIROX reports has a QE check ride report in it for 2021, created by the Master Chief. He's been doing this forever, and he's got this in every district. So for you operations folks that are interested. I'm going to start by going to an individual report. Here we've created templates for your training record, your mission details, total mission hours. The difference here is this is for 2020. This is for all hours reported through AUXDATA, overall time. Your member training status report. If those of you who remember the old system, remember we had a training status report which looked at your competencies or your qualifications and where you stand with regards to currency requirements. And then vessel exam activities. These are templates. They've been built for you to use. So the simplest thing I can teach you to use is to take one, and I'm going to use training record. And you're going to see that the template displays a training record for Amanda Lee Constant. She's the person and it will show everything she's ever taken, every course. And you can sort the dates, high to low, by clicking here, there. But you don't want Amanda's record. So the easiest thing is to go and do just simply a filter, change the filter, and then download the output. So here I'll click on the funnel. These are the filters that are applied to create this report. I will click on the member ID and change that to another person, apply it. And now I have Andrew Preston Butler's training record. And this is his training record. And say I want to send this to Andy. I go over to the caret on the far right and click export. I have two export options. One is formatted, which goes into Excel. The other one is a comma separated value, but also opens in Excel. I would say if you're going to just save it and send it to someone, use the formatted. If you're going to want to manipulate it, or upload it into Access and run queries against it, I would use the details only report. I'm going to use formatted for this because I'm going to send it to Mr. Butler. That opens up in Excel. Chris, can you see Excel?
Not yet.
How about now?
No, it's on your browser screen still.
See, I hoped I'd gotten over that problem. I guess I can't do this. I've noticed in Zoom, if I don't have it open ahead of time, it won't show when I open it.
Not all reports could be exported.
No, this one's on my screen. My screen is not showing on yours. And all reports can be exported.
Try doing a screen share and switch what screen your Excel is on.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
There, okay, that helps. So this is now my exported report, and I can save it in Excel. I can send it to the member, and that's the easiest way to do it. So I guess I have to share back to the other one. So let me go back to
Correct.
this one. Okay, but most of us, even though this is the easiest way to get something, most of us probably want to be able to save it and look at it periodically in our own files. And it's always going to be updated. Every time you open it up again, it will always report. It will always show the most recent information. So to do that, let me go back. And again, I'm just going to all folders. I'm going to go to individual mission detail. This is for the 2020. So here I have the template shows I have the hours for Mr. Beebe. And this is, I want to create one of these reports for my hours and save it so that every time I go look at the report, I can see what hours I've reported. I like this report because it shows me the date of the activity logs. And sometimes I get my calendar and I get a little behind and I forget what I've submitted and what I haven't submitted. So I am going to take and click the Save As button. This is like cloning. I'm going to save as. I will make this my report on 2020 hours. And when I go to save it, I have to, there's a little clicking you have to do down here. I can't file it in the individual reports folder because that's the national folder. And if everybody filed there, we'd just be cluttering it up with everything. So I need to put it in my private folder. And so to do that, I want to click on the right, select folder, click all folders up here at the top that's underlined, and then click private and select. And now this has changed from individual reports to private and save. So now I've saved that and I'm going to change it to be what I want to see. I could change it a couple of ways. If I click edit up in the upper right, I get the report outline structure. So this is the list of the columns. And if I want to add a group, I can add a group. A group means you've taken one column and you want everything grouped by it. So for example, if I wanted everything grouped by date, I would group by date, or I group by mission code. I'm actually going to group it by mission code eventually. I can add columns if I want additional information. I can change some of the information viewed. If you look down here, this report actually, I haven't gone all the way across, includes a number of program visits and vessel exams given. I don't need that because I'm not a vessel examiner. I can remove it by clicking the X next to that item. I can, so I've removed those two. I can move the order of things around if I want to by just doing drag and drop. I'm going to add the activity log number because maybe I want to go check an activity log at some point. So I click on this add column and then you just pick from the list. And usually if it has something to do with that, everything about the member will be at the top and the activity logs will be at the bottom. But so I'm going to go activity, and it's mostly alphabetical. Activity duration, activity log, here we go. Record number, that's what I want. So let me put that record number in, and then I'm going to move that record number up so it's right in front of mission start. So I just drag up and down. And I'm going to add a group. I'm going to group it by, again, by the activity log mission code. And these headers up here are important because that's how you will see the data listed here. So I'm going to go to the bottom, come up because I know it's going to be here. Activity log, mission code. So I'm going to group it. I can also now change the filters. In the filters up here, you'll see there are two filters applied. All units, all time. The filter is 2020. And the member ID I want to change. Apply that. Now that's going to change it from John Beebe to me. And what I need to do is click Save and Run, which is in the upper bar, about halfway across. So now I have a report that shows my activity logs grouped by activity code. And just for giggles, if I go all the way to the bottom, you'll see that there's total. So here's the total for the grand total, but I want a subtotal by activity code. So I'll click that button. Click that button. And now my report shows subtotals by each activity code. So for 99 Bravo, 14 hours, 99 Delta, and you can see the log number and the date associated with that log. If I like it the way it is, I think these columns are a little wide. I can kind of squinch things in a little bit. I can now save that. I could add a chart if I wanted to, but more often I'm just going to save this. And that's going to be my report. So now when I go back to my private reports, let me go back to reports. And go to my private reports, which are also alphabetical, by the way. There's my report. And now every time I go in to look at it, it will be updated with whatever activity logs have been approved since I last created the report. So that's the second simple way to create a report. I want to go back to the report screen, the all flows, and point out one of the nice things about having the all access file. Rather than do this, I'll just go here. All folders. One nice thing about having the all access file is that we have people out there who have gotten very, very creative with reports. Some of them are IS officers, some are people in the performance measurements department. Some are people that are just really good at this and or have used Salesforce or other these tools. One of the reports, for example, you can actually access any district and look at the reports. One of the reports I've borrowed actually comes out of Fifth Southern because we've been working with public education. And they have a report here called PE Course Statistics. This is a great report because it will show sort of what the classes have been. Now this is, if you want, you should always check your filters, by the way, to see what it's looking for. And this one is this year, 2020. And this is what they've written, how it's been written. These are all the filters they've been written, and the unit number 054. If I took the unit number and changed it to my, starts with 013, for example, that would change it to my district. I could change it to my flotilla. I could change it and then save it either in my all access file or save it as a private folder. So there's a lot of tools out there. There's a lot of reports that people are building that you may also take advantage of. What was I going to say? You do want to rename these. You do not want to overwrite these. You want to make sure you rename them. And if you create them, put them in your private folder first and save them there rather than saving them to all access, because there is the potential that someone could come into the all access file and corrupt your report inadvertently. They may change it or save it without changing the file, and that would overwrite your work, and that way you can restore your work. So there's a couple things, we are now, the IS department is putting together an index that we're updating periodically of what is available in the all access folders in all districts, and that should become available shortly so that you'll have an index you'll be able to look at to see if there's something out there that you want to use before you build. I also want to show you something else about reports as they're built. I'm back in the all folders and I've gone to the Flotilla level. Here we have the member roster, which you can run for any unit, a Flotilla unit. Unit training record. This again is the same training record report that you have for an individual, only this would be a lot of pages because it would show everybody in the Flotilla. The Flotilla member short report. The short report is name, first, last name, phone, and email. So if you just want a contact list of Flotilla members, go in and modify this for your Flotilla and save it as your Flotilla in your private folder or in your all access folder, and you'll have your short report. We have an all crew, all coxswains, personal watercraft, qualified vessel examiners, Flotilla vessel examiner report, program visitors, training status report. So this is the training, we had the training status report in the old AUXDATA. I'm actually going to just show you this one. This report still needs a little work, but here you can see what people are qualified for. And if I can get it to go over to the right, when their qualification may have expired, whether they're in re-air or not. And these are all in this column are all the tasks. This column are all the tasks that require you to, that you're required to take and stay up to date with in order to have your status stay certified. This gentleman is a pilot and he has stayed certified, but a lot of other people in it's going to show everything. Unfortunately, it's going to show every year of flight checks, and they'll show which ones have expired and which ones are still current. And eventually we're going to clean this template up so that you will only get the most current status and not have 100 lines if you've been a member for a long time. The other thing that's, so the other thing I wanted to point out, if I go to all folders again, is how we create a new report. I think you can get a lot of what you need by just going into the either going into the folders for the district, division, or the flotilla, and then making that modification, either change the filter or save. And I'm going to do another one. So I'll show you that save procedure again. In fact, let me do it with flotilla reports. And let me go down to, because this is a report that I think a lot of people would. Our Flotilla Activity Summary 2020. So now you want to run a report, shows all your flotilla's hours. And this is 2020, and that's for the person. That's not the one I wanted. There is a little bit of hunt and peck here. The summary only, and if it says summary, it only gives you totals. Here it is. Flotilla mission detail. Okay, I'm going to create this for another flotilla. So here you see the report actually shows the people in the flotilla and their hours. So let me save this. I'm going to save this again to my private folders. So I select all folders, private, and click the select folder. Now it's a private report, and save it. Let's go in and edit it. Click the edit button. I get the control panel on the side here. So I have mission start time, duration, position, program visits, and vessel exams. I'm going to leave program visits and vessel exams in there, although I'm not a huge fan of the formatting. Right now it's grouped on mission code, and it's grouped on last name, first name. So that keeps a member's records all together. So that's important. I have three filters, 2020 filter, activity log unit number equals, and I want to change this to the unit I want. Apply that. And then I'm going to also change this one and apply that. That didn't work. There it is. And save and run it. Let's see what I get. Okay, I've got my folks now in that Flotilla with their program visits and all that. There's really no good way to zero suppress this, like old AUXInfo. If I want to then take this out, I can export it. I can save it. I'll save it first. I can export it out. I'm going to put it in a formatted and export. And now I've got internal server error. We've had this periodically coming out, this internal server error. So I'm sorry about that. This one apparently is not going to work. So let me go back. Normally I could be able to export this and then convert it. I actually am able, you can convert it in Excel and, you know, group things differently, or change the aspect from columns to, you know, change your X and Y axis so the members appear in a column down the left while your activities appear across the top, et cetera, et cetera. So you have the ability to create reports for your flotillas to show your members their hours. I just wasn't able to do it quite right this time. So this is why I said, you know, Chris says reporting is new to us, and particularly this system it's new to us because we're not totally sure that it's going to work every time, because some of the reports work and some don't. So what I really advise you to do, if you go back to the home, we have a lot of different help text documents in here, including user guides. And the user guides include a guide on reporting. And one of the best things about the reporting guide, and you can find this on the National Help Desk, is this document, Reporting Basics in AUXDATA II version 1, June 2020. If anybody can see my screen. Two things in this document are critical to being successful in running reports. One is section 334, which is a section that describes all the tips to reporting. Things like when you're picking to add the member ID, you'll see that there's both a member's ID data field with an S or a member ID. Never use the member's ID with the S. It also has an appendix that lists all of the report templates and formats that are out there. So that is a very key piece. That's particularly key if you're building a new report. So let me go back to my reports and let's start with something new. So new report, you click on the button on the upper right-hand side of the screen. Now it's going to ask you to choose a report type. And this is where you need that manual to understand what each of these types will give you. I'm going to, for this purpose, I'm going to choose member with awards and click continue. Again, it's going to give me a template. And my job is going to be to modify the template to the way I want it. And it's going to default to me. And because it's of one of the filters that's applied. So we're going to change that too, so I can run it for every member in my unit. So I'm looking at this. This is really not giving me a lot of information. Want to slide this over. It's telling me, I'm trying to get it to slide to show the whole thing, but the slide's not working. Now I'm going to have to go across. So it's giving my name, my address, my phone number, my award record number. Well, that's not a very useful awards report. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the salutation, the title, the unit name, the mailing address. I'm going to get rid of all the stuff that doesn't have anything to do with what I need to know. And that'll make life a lot easier. You don't need my phone number or my fax number. And God knows we don't need the email. I don't need the unit owner. I am going to leave the award record number there just for curiosity, and I'm going to add columns. I want the actual award. What are the awards? So we'll go to the bottom here. Let's say, let's put in the award. Let's add the award type, because we have different types of awards. So let me get award type. And let's get the award date. Okay, and I'm going to actually group them because, as you know, sometimes we get multiple awards of the same type. I do a lot of public education, so I have multiples of the Public Education Service Award. So I am actually going to group by award because that'll tell me how many stars really should be on the ribbon. And now I'm going to check my filters. And the filter is saying, show me my members, which is why it's only me that's showing up here. I'm going to change that to show me all units. If I say all units, I can make this report function for any unit and any member. But before I do that, I got to think. Go back to my outline. I'm going to add another column. I'm going to add an ID, a member ID. So I can run it for myself or any other member. I have to pick member ID, and I'm going to move that. So that is actually up before the first name. All right, now I can go in, because I was afraid if I change the filter, then I'd get this enormous report that would run if I change this before I put that ID in there. And like I said, I'm about ready to do it again. Add the filter, member ID again. This way, when I run it, it will be not take 20 minutes to run. You want to make sure that you've got it fairly well winnowed down before you actually run the report. Equals. Okay. Let's do that. And now I can change it to all units. Apply. Save and run. So I'm going to call this save it. It's going to go in my private reports, which is the right folder. Save it. And now you can see the award, member ID, record number, the date, the award date, and the type of award it is, whether it's a service award, a program award, an individual award, etc. In hindsight, I may go back and say, I don't really need the record number. I can get rid of that. I don't like the order things are in. Do I really need, I can edit it again. Take out take out the record number. Save and run. And there's the award. And that's a little more useful. That's how you build a new report and save it. So that's pretty much what I had for reports, because I know there's going to be a lot of questions. And I will say one other thing. We've talked a little bit about some of the data that may be or may be missing. We did have issues with migration from the system, from the old system to the new. They are working now on remigrating data. We know it has affected some of the facility records. We know it has affected some of the time activity logs. And if you have to run a report for anything that is pre-2000, I suggest you still use AUXInfo. AUXInfo is still available. It's still open for use. And I know I have to run like 5-year rolling reports. I go to AUXInfo first before I go here for something 2019 to 18, 17, etc. And only here will I run something for 2020. And fortunately, 2020 has been a really light year when it comes to activity. But the reports, anything that has been put in since we went live is here. It's just some of the data that didn't migrate over. And a lot of the data, particularly for some of our older members that came from the old AUXMIS system, pre-2001, that system hasn't gotten put in here yet. They're working, Acumen actually started working on that about 2 weeks ago. And so you will see things updating over the next few months as we get the migration issues straightened out. Migration also affects competencies or qualifications for those of you who may be aware that some of the competencies don't look right. We are, again, working on that with Acumen. So there's a lot still to go with reports. So what questions can I answer on reports?
Okay, Laurel, thank you, Laurel, so much. And guys, for everyone here, I mean, this is just scratching the surface, as you can imagine. We could spend literally a day or two on reports and still not get through it all. So there is a lot here. Somebody in chat said, thank goodness there's a recording. It's very true.
Did I go too fast?
No, well, no, you didn't. But we got to kind of aim for the middle on some of this. But we do have a couple of questions. And here's one from me. AUXInfo, I was told, was going to sunset at some point, and I'm like most of us that, especially that know it, praying that it's not going to be anytime soon, and in particular around award time. Do you have any update on that, Laurel?
We're not sunsetting AUXInfo for at least another year.
Oh, that's great news. Okay.
Yes, no, AUXInfo is actually now, when we're trying to recover all these competencies and so the facilities and some of that stuff, AUXInfo is how we're doing some of it. All of AUXDATA is now on a hard drive.
Okay.
And sharing that with Acumen is one thing, but for the rest of us, if we want to point out to Acumen something, we use info to get it.
Yeah, excellent. That's very good news. Do you know if there's a report either now or in the future that'll mimic the annual member letter?
I do know. It's not a good answer though. Both the unit summary report and the annual member letter are incredibly complex reports because they pull in data from all the different sectors of the database. If you remember AUXInfo, we had cubes. And this system kind of has cubes too. there's member data, there's facility data, etc. We have not been successful yet in creating an annual member letter. We are working on instructions on how to create something similar, but it's not going to be the same. And we cannot create, so far we've not been able to create a unit summary report.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Sue Davies is saying that that's not going to happen.
Right. And the closest we have to the old training management report is that training status report that you were showing earlier, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
And there is work to try to build that, probably not with the color coding that we used to have.
Right.
And we are building the AUXDATA status report. That one is actually going to come out in another week or so.
Oh, that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
Excellent. Other moderators have any questions? Feel free. Okay.
Stunned silence.
Yeah.
Again, the real start small. Go into all folder, go into the reports, go to the all folders, and look at what's in there for individual reports and use one to practice. You know, go into an individual report, create a report for yourself. You've got a lot of things you can run here. You can run your status report. You can run your, you know, if you're a vessel examiner, you could run vessel examiner activities. There's things you can do here that'll get you started and familiar with using some of the tools, be they the column creation tool or the filter tool. Yes.
The reports is one area of the auxiliary, everybody, where plagiarism is highly encouraged. You want to basically find a report that looks good and has just about everything you want, and then just customize it for yourself with your own unit or your own member ID. That is the quickest, easiest way to do it. You just got to remember the terminology is a little different from the custom views or lists. Instead of cloning, you're actually saving as. But again, use your IS team to answer the questions, and we'll find the answers for you.
Right. Also, I will make a plug for the AUXDATA II help desk. We are, if people feel that there's the need for a specific report that will be used a lot, we will take it as a feature request. So go to the AUXDATA II help desk and put in a service ticket, which actually you can do right here under requests. And if I go to new, it will ask me for what kind of request. Come on. If you go to the service request, it'll give you a screen, and you can pick reports from that part. You can pick type of request, feature request, and then give us a description of what you want. And we will put people on it and let you know whether it's something that's doable.
Yes, the only thing I'll interject here is please don't use this for routine questions about how to do something in the system. We want to use the IS staff and other members that may be more familiar in AUXDATA II before we inundate the national staff, the help desk with you know, hey, I can't do this or I can't do that. Enhancement requests or feature requests, report requests, absolutely. But
yeah, and I will second what Chris says, because I'm the one that has to read all these requests. I will tell you right off, if you're saying I can't figure out how to get my facility inspected, I will say go back and talk to your IS staff.
Right. Okay.
But if something's broken, if something is, you know, we just had one this week. So I went to clone something, an activity log. A member went to clone an activity log and it failed and got an error message. Something broke. And so that's what we need to know. And Chris, today, I've already reported the one you told me about this morning.
Right.
That's what the service desk is for.
Excellent. Thank you again, Laurel.